Good afternoon. My name is Frus. I'm the Executive Director of DARE, Direct Action for Rights and Equality. We're one of the many groups that supports the CSA as part of this coalition. I just want to sum up some of the things that were said to make it pretty clear what we're asking for. So, as you know, there's been years of going back and forth with this language with City Council and mayor's folks and our own allies. And what the document that we have right now is pretty much the final version that we're asking everybody to support. There are a couple of things that you heard mentioned today that we do want added back in, and they're slight language, but humongously important to people, as you heard. The one part is in language access for limited English proficient individuals, LEP, section G, number 1. The language that we want to strike from this here is when the aforementioned language access hotline is unavailable. This is, right now, the police are, what this ordinance says is they have to use a hotline, right, unless there's an emergency situation. Or using a qualified interpreter. Now, with this language here, what it makes it do is that if there is no hotline, it can use bystanders and friends. And so we're just thinking that hotline may or may not be up, but they can't, more than likely, like everything else, it probably won't be working most of the time, and so they can't use that as an excuse to continuously use bystanders and family members and that sort. So we're wanting to limit it just to in emergency situations only. The other part has to do with the gang database. So in the gang database, and I want to also respond to Commissioner Perry, who said that the language that we have in here is cumbersome, which is hard for us to hear because all we want is due process. The due process is cumbersome, right? We just need a probable cause of reasonable suspicion, something factual for either identifying somebody or stopping somebody or those sorts. So in the ordinance right now, there's a list of things that we are saying that should not be used to identify somebody and then subsequently put them in the gang database, which is association, race, location of domicile, or location of the encounter. We also had in here, and we want to put back, is physical characteristics. Because right now, we can't think of one physical characteristic that would automatically make people assume that somebody's in the gang. The only thing we can think of are tattoos. But we had an individual who's going to testify today who also was afraid of police retaliation, so he didn't want to, but his experience is that tattoos that he's had that are really old, because he's in his 50s now, are being used against him. Tattoos that he got when he was in his teens. And also tattoos that have initials that mean something completely different, like his kids' names. Police have assumed that they meant some kind of gang. And here in Providence, we've also heard stories of Southeast Asian folks who have Khmer written on their arms, and the police don't understand what it says, and they assume it's a gang. So we want that to be put back in. And then the other thing is what you just heard in searches. We want to add language. If the gender of the individual needing to be searched comes into question, law enforcement officers must inform the individual of the right to request that search be performed by an officer of the gender of the individual's choosing. So that's important, different, there's to you it might seem a little bit of language here, but it's hugely important.
Are you going to submit that as an exhibit, that information?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you submit that, because your time is kind of up. So
okay. And that's basically all I have. Thank you.